What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the Make Toys RM-09SP Bounceback, either Ricochet or Stepper, whichever one you want to call him. And obviously all he is just a repaint of their Jazz mold. Mostly it's just a recast, I guess, because he's just mostly black. But he does have some nice paint apps. As you can see, you got those like gold metallic flames on here and the stripes and stuff. I mean, overall, he looks good for what he is. Somehow doesn't feel quite as striking as like the Million Publishing, but he's still pretty striking looking. Yeah, I don't know what it is that makes that Million Publishing one just look a little bit more standout. Once again, still wish that there was red lights here painted in, but I mean, what can you do? Blue plastic on the headlight covers, you know, it looks good. I will say, not a big fan of the color they chose to use for the clear plastic on the windows. It's weird because the back is like a painted gray, and then you come around to here and it's so transparent you can see his head right through it. So I don't know, something might have to be done about that at a later point in time for me. Maybe put like a piece of some kind of tape or even like a scotch tape to just kind of frost it or something. Don't care that I can see the head that much, but yeah, there's the car. Quick comparison, here he is next to Jazz, which has a bunch of repro labels on it, and it looks good. Like, they are two really good looking Porsches. Now, the one thing that stood out to me when this guy got announced was he had a Targetmaster, and I was like, whoa, cool, he's got a Targetmaster. Is it unique? Is it something new for him? Totally forgot Contact Shot existed. So all you have is the same Targetmaster that Contact Shot has. You have this barrel piece which can go on here to make a bigger barrel. Personally, to differentiate, I've been leaving this in the box and just leaving Ricochet here with the smaller barrel. He does come with a couple accessories. You do have the shoulder launcher, the gold painted gun, and you got these faces which, you know, once again, here's that Jazz face that we don't really know what we're doing here. And I will say that the eyes are painted nicely red, but when you get it into robot mode, suddenly they look kind of orange. So I think I'm going to repaint those eyes. And there's like the unhappy face. So as you can imagine, he has the same three faces. He also comes with two adapters. One for robot mode, one for vehicle mode. There's the robot mode one, was to the side here. This doesn't really work, and this kind of sort of works. So what you do here is you plug this into between the spoilers. You can see the little like pillar that holds it up. You peg that in, and then you peg this in, and for all intents and purposes it works. Just that there's no real up and down out of the gun, so it's just completely straight, so you can't really do anything. I do wish that the connection that they did on the Targetmaster was at least a little bit better to let this thing move around a little. So to transform the Targetmaster, since we've never done Contact Shot on this channel, is relatively easy. Just start by unpegging the legs here from the head, bring the gun barrel around, and fold the legs all the way down and pivot it at the waist there. Unplug this little gun piece, go ahead and, the handle, go ahead and bring his hands around, and I always put his head back the other way. The instructions don't tell you to do that, but I'd rather him look at the ground as opposed to the sky. In gun mode, it feels more convincing. Take this, fold it up, and fold the gun down like this, and then this piece, I mean, the instructions just tell you to do it like that. Personally, I don't think that that necessarily looks so great, so I just kind of fold it all to the back so it's hidden. And there we go. And we've got the little Contact Shot Targetmaster in his gun form, and there's just nothing that you can do with this, so it's even more reason to just kind of take this piece off and put it to the side. At least on Contact Shot, there is a plug-in on like the shield piece. So you can store this somewhere. There's just no place for that on Ricochet here. So I think it's incredibly nice that they've included the Targetmaster, and I mean, why wouldn't you? But one thing I want to point out is like, he feels very phoned in. Like, look at his face here. It's just like they slapped orange paint on and it doesn't look good. For comparison, now mind you, I've got repro labels on here, but that's not a repro label on the face. that they picked out the visor in the silver paint. I really wish they would have gone ahead and put the orange paint and then maybe like a red visor or something on yeah, the Targetmaster. It's just weird that they can do it before and then this one they kind of phoned it in when this is like a premium con thing. So I'm not going to go ahead and transform this guy back and forth to each mode. I've already done that when I did Jazz. I'll put a link to him in the description below if you want to check it out, and maybe like a little annotation box somewhere you can click here if you want to go to that now. But no point doing it again, so let's just get him to robot mode. So when you get Stepper to his robot mode, the first thing that jumps out to me is that his eyes appear more orange than they do red. When they're standalone, just the face and the eyes, they look red, but then when it's all combined, to me, it just has a very orange tint to it. The chest logo, the way it all compresses, and you know, the way the logo looks, I think that looks awesome. That's real well done. The tampos are nice. And the one thing that just blew me away about Stepper, and I don't know why they didn't do it for Jazz, is when you get down to the legs here, like look at the beautiful like gold metallic paint on here. And it's paint because if you take a look at the inside, you can see it's like a gold cast plastic, and they just came back and gave it a gold finish, and it looks so good. And they did the same thing to the feet. I think they sprayed both sides of the feet because it's not as apparent on the feet that it's a paint job. Yeah, but unlike Jazz, who ended up getting these like terrible swirls that didn't really match the leg to the feet, like this looks so good painted. It's really a night and day difference. Yeah. So, of course, Stepper has his accessories. Well, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. There he is next to Jazz with repro labels here. And one more size comparison. Here he is next to the MMC Artfire, who is fairly close in size to the official one. And, you know, there he is. I think they look good together. So, of course, we have the usual array of accessories. You can attach the shoulder cannon on the side. You have the gold cast version of the gun, which I think this is also painted to give it a real nice sheen. Got a factory worker's piece of hair there, apparently. But, yeah, it's very nice looking in gold. So, like we had for the previous mode, there is an adapter for the Targetmaster, and I just don't feel like it really works. So you take this one here, and it just slots on here, and it holds on okay. And then you take the Targetmaster with the handle out, and it's going to slide right into this piece, which is probably going to come off while we're trying to mess with this. Now the reason I don't feel that this works great, you can give a little bit of an angle to the piece while it's in this little bracket, but ultimately, see, it just kind of pops out when you do it that way. So you end up mostly having to leave your Targetmaster just straight on the bracket, and then if you can get this thing to peg in, which is a challenge in itself. Come on, Targetmaster. Well, it doesn't look like it really wants to play. But it ends up kind of not really pointing upwards. It's just like a straight cannon, and you can't really angle it up because the way this connection works. So it just doesn't really work ultimately. That said, with the new handle that they made for the Targetmaster, of course Stepper can wield him just fine. Still have that same issue you had with Jazz where things come apart, but just fine. And I mean, you can even go ahead and throw on the extension to the barrel if you want, and it's not too heavy for this bot to hold up. So overall, if you're looking for a Stepper and you really like the Jazz, or maybe you got the Toy World Coolsville and you just have never messed with this Jazz, I would say that this is a worthwhile purchase. I do wish that he came with all the accessories Jazz had, even if Stepper didn't use the speakers and, you know, didn't have the grappling hook. Like, it's just nice accessories to include for the price. I don't see a point really to take it out. The paint job on the legs, like, it's fantastic, and I think the black and gold color scheme, it just looks beautiful. So yeah, this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.